Well, hello, Holy Trinity Buds. I came across a thought recently about the R number, and we've heard so much about that, haven't we, over these last 4 months? And the thought was this: what if we, instead of thinking about the R number as the spread of a disease, we thought about it in terms of the spread of the gospel, the making of disciples, the making of apprentices or followers of Jesus, as we've been thinking about recently as a church. And so if the R number falls is 1, that means that in your lifetime you make one follower of Jesus, and that's a good thing. And in which case everything stays the same. Now, if you don't do that, then if we don't, each one of us do that, then the church declines. But in contrast, if you made 3, if the R number rises above 1, then the church begins to grow. And that thought is just one of those thoughts I came across, and it just has stuck in me about the call of us as a church to be on a mission afresh to those who don't yet know Jesus, may not have heard about Jesus and how amazing he is and what he has for us. So good news. I've got some good news, which is our buildings are allowed to reopen, and we are planning on reopening our building in September. And in the build up to that, we're just going to make the plan, make sure it's safe. But one of the things I'd love you to do is just complete the survey that we're sending out, answer the questions, give us some feedback, both about your experience of the last 4 months, but also give us some indication so that help us plan the way forward. That would be hugely helpful. And if you get that done in about a week or so, that would be wonderful. But now, as I've been thinking about our buildings, it's not the mission. This R number doesn't depend on our buildings. It's so good to be able to gather physically. I'm excited about that. I'm longing to see you together physically. But I was reading this morning in the Bible in 1 year. Many of you might read the Bible in 1 year. And we're in the book of Acts. We're in Acts 27. And it's the story of the shipwreck. And some of you may know this. If you don't, basically Paul is on his way to Rome. He's on a boat, and a storm hits off the island of Crete. And it really is a hurricane. And it goes on for day after day after day. And Paul says, stick with the ship and you'll be fine. And on day 14, when they must have just been at their wits' end, Paul says, some of you may be hungry, we should eat. And there's an understatement. So what we read in verse 39 is that it says this: then he took some bread, he gave thanks to God before them all, and broke off a piece and ate it. Then everyone was encouraged and began to eat. And all 276 of us who were on board. And they all survived. But it's interesting that the breaking of bread didn't happen in a church service or in a building. The breaking of the bread happened in the middle of a storm. And everyone was saved. And that, for me, just felt God first thing this morning just speak to me about the opportunity we have afresh with all those around us, those friendships that we've built, those people we've loved and served and talked to and shared our fears with as we've walked through this terrible 4 months. Now is the opportunity to offer them the food of the gospel, and because they're all around us. And Jesus is so longing to feed them and encourage them and gather them into the church family, and he does that through you and me. So I just encourage us as we look at September, as we look at gathering back together physically, as we look at who we might invite onto Alpha or to a church service or to our Connect group, just really praying for you as we do that as a church and looking expectantly at September. So bless you all, and really look forward to hearing your thoughts in the survey. Thank you so much.